Right, welcome to two of my Elite Dangerous for Beginners combat series. Part one, we went out in the basic sidewinder to a high resource extraction site, helped the police shoot a few bad guys, and we got, in about half an hour, we got just over 5 million. Um, I was originally going to get a Viper, which costs about 3 million, but on second thoughts, the very much unloved Diamondback Scout makes a very good first combat ship. It has an advantage over the other two, which I'll explain in a minute. Normally, people go for either Cobra, a Viper as this first combat ship after the Sidewinder. But one of the things now, you can get money quicker. They just buffed the bounty payouts, so it would take you like quite a long time to get your 3 million for a Viper. But now, as you saw, half an hour, you might as well stay there. Do two or three trips until you got 15 million, and then go and get a Vulture, jump this level altogether. But I want to use this one to practice the next stage. The trouble is with going too fast. Um, the Vulture is a stronger ship, but it it'll spoil it a bit from the point of view of practicing the skills you need. You don't want to jump to the ends. You'll end up as you won't have the same sort of level of skill in the end as if you go through the ranks, train yourself. So because I got the 5 million. Ideally, I would have liked 6 million actually, and then I could have got this Diamondback Scout perfectly. So the reason I say it's unloved because it's never really had a role that it could fulfil, but it actually does make a very good first combat ship. And the reason is that the four hard points are all on the front of the ship. And what that means is you can shoot them all at the same time and land them all on a target at the same time, even when you're not pointing straight at the enemy. That's quite a big advantage. There's a few ships where that can happen, but what you're going to find out as you go through the different ships, you're going to find out some of them can only shoot at certain angles, and that's one of the problems with the Viper and the Cobra. They're the opposite way round. You've got the same weapons layout, two medium slots and two small ones. But with the Viper, I think the mediums are on the top. I might have this the wrong way around, but the principle's the same. And the small ones are underneath. And what that means is if your opponent's above you, you can only use the medium weapons, and if the opponent's below you, only the small ones will fire. So that means that you can't actually use your main weapons, while you're tilting round to point at him. So, but with the Diamondback Scout, all four will fire all the time, or most of the time at least. So that is a huge advantage because you're going to kill much more quickly, and all the time, the quicker you kill them, the less chance they've got of killing you. So that's the reason why I've chosen the Diamondback, and while it's a fits this nice slot, as the first combat ship. Right, so let's look at the loadout again. Carrying on from the principles that I said before, you always want the best thrusters and the best power distributor. Never compromise on those. There's one exception with the thrusters. If it's a really fast ship, like the Vulture, it's got really powerful thrusters. It's basically two engines um, and with guns on, and that's it. So you could go to sea thrusters on a Vulture and still do quite well. But it's always better to have for the sake of just staying in that resource extraction site for like 10 minutes longer, you've got the difference between the C and A anyway. Right. So the other things, I would have liked an A frame shift drive, but I didn't have enough money for everything. So the other thing is if you're bounty hunting, it's quite useful is sensors. As they go up in grade, you can see further on the radar, and that's quite good. Being able to target ships and see who's about and that sort of thing. Um, Also, if you're fighting in a combat zone, not going to do that just yet because they're quite tricky and you need to learn some other skills before you can handle one of those. Um, it's quite handy to be able to see a long way into them so you can pick your targets properly. So they're the useful things. So then you need enough power to work everything. So I'm using this tool here. I forgot to mention Coriolis.io, and it's a really useful tool for experimenting with things. You just click on the slots, and all the available uh, modules come up. You just click on the one you want to, you know, try in the build. So you just build your ship offline like this, and you can. I'm going to show you a couple of other things in a minute how useful it is. So first of all, I'm looking at the point of view of my money. I had 5 million. The things I would have liked was an A power plant, but that knocks the price right up. So straight away I'm up to 5 million there, and you need insurance left. So I don't think I've got enough money for that. There's one thing while I'm doing this build I'm not sure about is how much money I'm going to get back for the Sidewinder, because I did buy some modules for that. So when I hand that in, I think I'm going to get about 30,000 back for that. And I think I did scan a couple of other systems when I went to Chambo on the way to Dromi, and I think I got about 40,000 worth of astronomical data, which I could also sell. I can't get the money for that at Dromi, but when we go to get this ship, I might be far enough away. You've got to be 20 light years away from where you scanned the system to be able to sell it. So I think I might get some money for that. So I might have enough just to adjust this build a little bit when I do it. Um, so yeah, that's that. Shields. Now for bounty hunting, like when you're shooting multiple targets, like one after the other, bi-weave shields are much more useful. They're nowhere near as strong as A grade. A grade take a lot more power, so that's another thing you got to consider. But the bios charge up much faster, so they recharge between your targets and between shooting at them. As long as you're not, what happens is they won't charge while you're all the time, like while you're landing, while shots are being landed. I don't know whether there's a delay up from after that, but between salvos, like while the bloke's jousting round, they do charge up a bit, so you gain something back. And the faster they charge, the in effect, the stronger they become. And you'll find it with some ships, especially sidewinders, trying to kill them sometimes. Their shields recharge so fast that you've knocked them. You think you've knocked them down, and they manage to evade you for a bit, and the next thing they're back again all the time. It's really annoying if you're shooting ships like sidewinders sometimes. So fast bi-weave shields are very useful from that point of view. I tend to use those for um, this sort of combat where you're doing one ship after the other. If you're on like an assassination mission where you've got one very difficult ship to kill, then the A grade or even the prismatic shields, which are special ones, you have to get. I'm not going to go into that now. You can't just get them at this stage, but um, the really strong shields with lots of boosters, because they only need to hold up the once for the one battle, and obviously the stronger they are, the more chance you've got that, and you're going to be under like direct fire for longer in that situation. So in assassination missions, I'd be using um, strong shields, and in this situation, I'm using fast charge shields. That's the difference. Right, let's just have a look at a few other things. What this does, as you put all the modules, it shows you the power, and you get a symbol in there when you haven't got enough, um, and you can see the um, the percentage that you're using. So I'm at 95.4% of using up all my power at the moment. So the main thing is you got enough power. You notice I've got the cargo hatch and the docking computer switched off. With those switched on, I haven't got enough power. But I'm only using all the power when I've got my weapons out. So when I'm using the docking computer, I won't have the weapons out. We're never going to use the cargo hatch for combat, so you can switch that off. There you are. See, now I've got enough power, so I could keep the docking computer on all the time. But like in the last session, what I would do, I would switch that off as soon as I've taken off, leave it off while I'm fighting, and put it back on just when I come into the station. So I'm going to show that switched off. Just click them to switch off. Now we come to the next bit. So let's look at the weapons again. So I'm clicking this profiles tab, And these are the two weapons. This is the multi-cannons, and this is the pulse lasers. This is the distance that the enemy is, and this is how much damage they do. And what you can see is the further away you are from the enemy, the less damage they do. So a pulse laser is useless at anything more than 3 kilometers. You can't land a shot, or you can't do any damage. Um, the multi-cannon's gone for a bit further, so it does give them a bit of an advantage, because like between up to 4 kilometers you can still be doing some, a fair amount of damage. But you can see the difference in these pulse lasers now. That's 500 meters. Now, if you looked at the last video I did, the majority of the time we were over 1.5 uh, 1,500 meters from the target. We were sort of in this range most of the time, so you can see we weren't doing much damage. Just this bit here, the real damage is done close range. So the goal has always got to be to get as close as possible when using the pulse laser. So 500 meters isn't very much, and that's always a big disadvantage of pulse lasers. And some other weapons, you need to be in very close to use them. So multi-cannons do give you a further range, but you can see the difference in the damage they do to the. This is for the shields. This one here. See the difference they do at close range. And this is now the damage to the hull. So the multi-cannons doing more damage to the hulls than what they did before. The pulse lasers, nearly nothing. Sorry, the pulse lasers doing a load of damage still. In fact, more damage to the hull than what the multi-cannons are, interestingly. But you've got to be close. So if we're in this region here, between 1,500 and 300, it's sort of more or less even Stevens. If you average it out, sometimes one does more damage, sometimes the other. So, but the multi-cannons class 1. So you could look if you wanted to kill quickly. You could go for the class 2 multi-cannons and class 1 lasers, and that would bring that one down to about there and this one up to about there. But the multi-cannons, don't forget, do more damage at range. So you could play with the statistics and see, try the different way, look at these and see what would be the best layout. But the reason I haven't chosen bigger multi-cannons is because they use up ammunition and then you run out and you've got to come back to the station. I prefer the pulse lasers because you can stay out for much longer. In fact, you can stay out indefinitely if you had all pulse lasers, but the all pulse laser layout doesn't quite do enough damage, and the small multi-cannons, the class 1s, carry a lot of ammo, so they do last long enough for a decent session. And the other things you can do here is see how you can do against different opponents. So here you can select different ships. These are all stock ones, but if you've saved some ships, you can, when you do this one, you can save it there, and then it comes into the list as one that you can choose. I might have to refresh it. I'm not too sure. So Diamondback Scout, isn't it? Diamondback Scout. There it is. There's my build. So I can pit myself against myself, see how it holds up. But the one we tend to see a lot of was things like Cobra Mark IV, something like that. So click that one, stock. And then what you do, you come to this one here, offense, and there's all sorts of statistics here. So this is an interesting one. How quickly we're going to knock down his shields and armor. So you can see it's going to 19 seconds to. Sorry, where is it? We'll remove shields in 14 seconds. Where's armor? I thought they had it in here. That's the damage. Oh, there it is. 20 seconds. So 34 seconds to kill the ship. If we're 34 seconds of sustained fire, and I've set the range to roughly 1,500 meters. That's the sort of average range where you'd be. So 34 seconds to kill a Cobra Mark IV. And when we look at defense, You can see how long we're going to last. So uh, shields will hold for 23 seconds. Armor will hold for 3 seconds. So 26 seconds. So we're not going to last as long. So if we're in a one-to-one battle, head to head, tanking it out, the Cobra Mark IV is going to win. So we don't want to use that as a tactic. But of course, this doesn't take into consideration using chaff and getting a better angle of attack and stuff like that. It is quite difficult. Like at this stage, when you've got normal thrusters, even though they're A grade, they're not engineered. It is very difficult to get behind your targets and get angles on them and stuff like that. It's going to be a jousting match. So you come head to head, few shots, and then joust round again. That's the way the AI is programmed. It's very difficult to get out of that. There are ways, which I'm going to try and show you. It's easier on the bigger ships to avoid that, but on the small ships, they're just as agile as you, so you tend to get these jousting matches. So I wouldn't really want to go one on one at this stage with a Cobra Mark IV. So we need to pick smaller ships that we can handle. Rank comes into it as well, because the lower the rank, the more they're programmed not to shoot you so much. If it's an elite one, they're on you all the time. While if it's a harmless one, they run away. They don't even want to shoot you. They might point you try one shot and they think, Christ, that's not working out, and they run away. The AI has done quite well from that point of view. So you can. This is what I was saying in the last one. Choose your targets. If you choose targets that you can see here that we can't win against the Cobra Mark IV, and I can tell you the AI is they got perfect pit management and perfect everything, and so you're at an advantage there. You have to be a better than average pilot to be able to beat one of those in a one-to-one with this ship. So be very careful. Don't get cocky. As I say, choose your targets. So you can have a look at all these statistics and play with it. It's really interesting what you can see. So having built our ship, the next thing to do would be to this one here, stations that sell the ship. So we just click that and it brings up this tool, eddb.io. So what you do, you just put in here where you are. We're in Dromi. And then you have to click on this one. Don't press enter. It finds it for you, but then you've got to click on it to put it in a box like that. And then you'll notice it's got stations that sells. It's already put the ship in there and all the modules. Find stations. It's quite handy. And there you go. Midgley Dock in Arth has got it all. And I tried it out yesterday, and sure enough, it got everything that we needed to build what we want. So that's what I'm going to do next. Go there, buy the ship, outfit it like I've showed you, and then we're going to go and find somewhere to use it. Right, here's my Diamondback Scout, all outfitted now. Uh, two pulse lasers in the big ones, two multi cannons in the small ones, utility mounts, two chaffs, a 0A shield booster, and I just had a little bit of power and a little bit of money left, so I got a 0C. If I'd added like more money, I think I would have been able to fit an A shield booster in there, which helped a bit. Core internal, military grade composite, 4A power plant, 4A thrusters. These are the things that's essential. 3A power distributor, 4A thrusters, frame shift drive. Just had a bit of money left. I got a C again. If I'd had full amount of money, I think I would have had enough power to get a 4A, which would have helped jumping around with that. At the moment, I've got 14 light years of jump range. 2D life support, 2A sensors, uh, so I can see a long way around the field. And the optional internals, I haven't really got anything there. Just the bi-weave shields, they're quite important. And I downgraded the docking pute to a standard one. Got rid of everything else. So that's it, ready to go fighting now. Just got to find the resource extraction site to try it out. But before that, we just got to sort out fire groups. There's one important point there. I've put all the lasers on one trigger, or sorry, all the weapons on one trigger. That's because it's more convenient. And remember that the pulse lasers, the damage drops off rapidly once you got beyond 500 meters. So you really do need the support of the multi cannons to kill the ships, as quickly as you can. If you're using like missiles as a separate weapon, that's something for a later video. Um, you'd want them on separate triggers, but for this build, put them all on one trigger. That'll be fine. The multi cannons do last quite a long time, so you're not wasting too much in terms of how long the ammo lasts. So just further down, if you look, I've put the discovery scanner on trigger 2. Not that we're going to use it much, but I might have to jump a couple of systems, so just scan them along the way. But the chaff launchers, now you could have put those on trigger 2, but I'll tell you why I haven't done that. There's some things like chaff, heat sinks, and shield cells. You get the option in the key bindings to put them on a separate button. You don't have to have them in a fire group, and that's very advantageous because if you do that, it frees up your trigger for anything else you want to do. You might want to change your weapons later and have two separate triggers, but it's muscle memory. You need to get used to, oh, my chaff's always there, my heat sinks are always there, because you often need to use them in an emergency. And if you're trying to think, well, now which trigger did I put on? It's not triggered to, I don't want a button somewhere, by that time, it's too late normally. So I've got a spare button on my joystick that I use for chaff, and that's how I know where to find it. My muscle memory will take me straight there every time I need to use them, and it's like quick decisions all the time. Incoming fire, chaff. It needs to be as quick as that. So I recommend that. So if you're using a keyboard, find your chaff button, whatever it's going to be. There is one by default, I think. So learn what it is, and or put it on whichever one you think might be better. Right, here we are at the extraction site this time. Don't forget to put your ship's lights on. The night vision. It's very dark in here. Right, so the things we need to practice are putting the throttle in the blue zone when we want to turn quickly, and getting our pips right all the time. So here we are. Also, there was a sort of bug in the program. I mentioned before that the police hadn't turned green, hadn't become friendly when I handed in that data. It was a bug, when I relogged, it did turn them green. So here's a pirate, Imperial Eagle Master. They can be a bit tough, so I need to get my weapons out. I want to get him from behind rather than the front. It's the wrong mode. She's been down thrust a bit. The police are busy with somebody else by the looks of it. So throttle in the blue zone now. Get the fast turn. Oh, 4 pips to weapons. He wasn't very good at getting away. So here's an F scout, dangerous one. He's fighting another one, so that's bad guy on bad guy. Police aren't interested. So he's dangerous as well. So what I'd do, I'd wait for, like an asp, I'd wait for it to be like halfway down before attacking. And another thing is keep an eye on their shields. You've got the ticking clock around their radar so that you can see when their shields are coming back. Police don't seem very interested. What'll happen if one of them shoots me, then they should join in. But I know what'll happen is if I join in, the police then start shooting somebody else. There's another one behind them that they'll probably do. So these should be evenly matched. He's going down now. So now you can see the ticking clock for his shield. See how quickly they come back. So he's got quite fast charging shields. So what you don't want to do is like open fire just before the shields come back. So let's join in, shall we? So 4 pips to weapons. Just get behind him. What time for the multi-cam to go? So just keep full throttle at the moment, pointing behind him. They can't turn that fast. So they tried to shoot me, but couldn't quite turn fast. Throttle in the blue zone. And he's pointing at us a chaff. See if the chaff works. I'm going backwards at the moment while the chaff's going. Boost past him. So I need to put some pips to shields now. Oh, he's running away. So 4 pips to it. Engines. Chase after him. Now to the weapons. Just got enough for a boost. Oh, come on. I think he's going to get away. With about 1% to go. So bash him. Oh, missed him. Oh, got him anyway. Come on. Doesn't have to work. So no thanks from his mate. I need 2 pips to shields, 4 to engines, 4 for to engines for speed, and the pips to the shields just to charge them up again. So they're police, shooting that one. Let's see if we can get behind him. There we go, throttle in the blue zone. And we're not behind him again, as he should have been. Full throttle, trying to keep with him. Throttle in the blue zone. 4 pips to weapons. Throttle in the blue zone. So we got him. After a while, you'll get the hang of this. You never get it 100%. Well, I never do. Maybe I'm no good at it, but there's battle going on down there. Yeah, it's taking an Aspon on its own, dangerous one. With this ship, I think it's just a little bit dodgy. There's some policemen. They're shooting. A drop ship. So we've got a bit of a mixed spawn here. We can get there in time. I don't think he'll shoot us, he's nearly gone. still aiming behind him. Oh, behind the police. Full throttle. Now I'm going to use my down thruster to stay behind. So throttle in the blue zone. Right, oh, it's going. Vulture there. So again, one-on-one, we'd lose that battle. He's got a big anaconda on him, plus at least one other police ship. So that's my pips. I'm just going to put one to the shields to charge them up a bit. It's got chaff as well, so it's going to slow the battle down a bit. See how effective chaff is, because it only works against gimbaled weapons. Okay, right, 4 pips to weapons. Let's go for it. So you got throttle in the blue zone. It's dancing about. Oh! Well, the anaconda's finished him off pretty quick. There's the asp again. It's a different one. So that was police shooting police there, look. So when that happens, normally you have to jump out and jump back in again. But if we find the right ships, it gives us a chance to have a couple of one-on-one battles, because while the police are fighting each other, they won't help. So look out for that. So you've got that one down there, chasing after that asp. Yeah, what's this? An eagle. Oh, we can shoot that one. The eagles, they often try to get behind you. So let's see if he'll attack. So 4 pips to weapons. Over the last one. The transporter, he'll be a miner. Oh, they finally started on that asp. Just like when you're in a sidewinder, they do tend to prioritise the highest risk, but highest threat, but they will have a go at you from time to time. Just keeping position at the moment. So when he turns to you, if he actually points at you, boost past him. I've got only 1 pip to engines at the moment. That's keeping the. Get out of the way. That's keeping the capacitor topped up, so I can boost from time to time. Just 1 pip is all you need for that, as long as you're not like chasing somebody around the sky. So fer de lance, they can be nasty. So what is it? It's a master. That's not too bad. The rank does make a big difference, you know, when you're in this ship. It's blue zone. If he turns towards me, I'll chaff. There we go. Just in case they didn't. They usually get a good bounty off of fer de lance. 200,000. There's a multiplier on that, up to 4 times. So he was worth nearly $1 million. It's a gunship. Remember I told you about the gunships? Never attack one of those unless you've checked that whether they've got a fighter or not. So you go to the targets and look down here. There's no fighter there, so you'd be okay to go on him. I'd rather go for one of the police who are fighting. So you go, Christ, everybody's fighting each other. That's the gunship. That looks like the assault ship. Is at 66% now. Looks like it's got 3 police on him, so we've got a chance now. So let's try and get behind him. And mysteriously, they always point at you as you close in on them. They always turn round randomly, and they're pointing at you. Oh, let's just shoot him anyway. So you get the idea. We haven't had to deal with anything too difficult. Get behind him. Throttle in the blue zone. Just chaffing. Oh. You can if you're dead close, you can still shoot while they're chaffing because there's not so much spread of your weapons. Shoot me a bit there. So throttle in the blue zone, it's gone. I'm getting low on multi-cannons now. If you lot, I've only got 30 shots, 30 bullets left. There's this police still shooting each other. They go on for ages, those battles. So there's a Imperial courier. He's wanted. But also, that's that gunship. So police are shooting him now. So he's got a bit of a chance now. I'll let it go down a bit. Just put 1 pip to my shields just to charge them up a bit. Keep him forward to weapons to try and finish them off as quickly as possible. But I've got no hardly any multi-cannons now, so I've got to be a bit careful. He's got a lot of police on him. So like when we're in a sidewinder, we'll do something. Go past him. Full throttle. And now in the blue zone. He's gone. And no multi-cannons left. So time to go back and replenish our ammo for the multi-cannons. So you got the idea that that's what you got to concentrate on. Use of the throttle. So when you're turning, normal turning, especially when you need to do like a fairly fast one, keep on somebody's tail, keep the throttle in the blue zone. But you've got to be intelligent as well. If he's going away from you, obviously you're going to need full throttle. So wiggle it about. With the Eagles, and the Imperial Eagles, they can sometimes get behind you. They come over your head, and they can get round the back of you faster than what you can pitch up. So the trick there is to go into reverse and pitch up. So So while you're going backwards and pitching up like that, they can't get behind you. So you're going to bring them back. You're going to end up face to face. So you need to be. You want while you're doing it, probably 3 and 3 pips like that. So you get quite a fast turn, and you'll be pitching backwards, and be ready to chaff. But normally the eagles have fixed weapons, so chaff's not that good against them. Just too late for that. So that's the general advice for this ship. But it is quite good fun. It's better to have a bit of a challenge in the fights. Gives you a bit of danger. As you come out here in a Federal Corvette, you rule the place. You can just shoot anything you want, especially if it's fully engineered. So it is quite good fun. It's the danger that makes it fun. And don't be frightened to run away if things really go bad. Just run away. Right, yeah. So time to go back. So boost out at right angles. Put your weapons away. 4 pips to engines. When you get that disruptive mass, just keep boosting to get clear. It just means the mass of those big anacondas are slowing you down from getting your frameshift drive going. But if you boost away from them, you can get clear of them. Right, so now it's back to the station. It's about 93 light seconds away. So there it is, Axel port. Oops, behind the... Yeah, keep away from the planet when you're going to the station. It slows you down a lot, so go outwards and then loop round. I've been out twice now, so my money is up to... I've got 5 billion plus another 4, that's 9 million plus the value of this ship. So it's 15 million to get a vulture. So I'd probably come out again, get a bit more money, and then get the vulture, and I'll show you what to do with that. Now the vulture can handle itself much better because it has very strong thrusters, and it's much easier to stay behind the big ships. Oops, not concentrating. So you can do more one-on-ones with that. Like it's really good fun getting asps, and you can just stay behind them all the time. And pythons, you just stay behind them, shooting as much as you want. They can't get you. But the Federal assault ships and the smaller ship, Imperial couriers, vultures, and that against you, they put up a pretty good fight. And when it comes to big ships like anacondas, there's a way of dealing with them that I have to show you separately. So with a vulture, you'd be practicing using your thrusters. So you want to stay in this way. I'll do it to 3 or 4 trips, maybe even more, to concentrate on getting that pip movement right and the throttle right. Those 2 things, they're the absolute basics of combat. If you don't get those right, you're going to lose. So make sure you get that. You want muscle memory for that, so just keep practicing it. So it just happens automatically. You don't have to think about it. So in the beginning, you have to think about it a lot. But once you've done it a bit, it will be just automatic. So the other thing what I'm going to show you next is how to deal with a bounty when you've got a bounty on you. You see what happens to those wanted ships, and normally the same would happen to you if you don't handle it right. So I'll show you how to deal with it. That's going to be the next trip. I just want to cash in my money first, because if it goes wrong, I don't want to lose it all. Otherwise, I can't get the vulture. So, get the docking computer going. So I always fly into the station rather than use the docking computer. It's much quicker. This is a good manoeuvrable ship. It's dead easy to get through the slot. I think you can get it through sideways on as well, so it's easier than, let's say, a Cobra. Right, so I've got to refill my ammo, starboard services, get my money. So I got another thing to show you as well, how to get you more bounty money. So that's We got how to get more bounty money, how to deal with a bounty on you, and then using the vulture, and that'll probably be it for this series. So contacts, authority, confirm. So I'll see you out there again.